Hey, it's Mary Beth. I am here for another session of my wellness journal. And as you can see, because I have supplies out here, my wellness journal isn't ready yet for this month. I have been working on it and working on it. I've had a wildly busy month as usual, and here I am at the end trying to jam it together. But it's probably exactly what I need today. So I want to talk a little bit about what I do when I am in that place where I'm not kicking on all cylinders. I want to make some art. I'm not sure what I need to be doing. And anyway, here I am. So new supplies is always one thing. Isn't that what we do? I mean, I've joked about this a million times. We're all shoppers, and we're artists, but we're all shoppers. And so I ordered these new Sharpie markers. It's called Sharpie Creative Marker, and it's supposed to be a paint in a Sharpie, and I haven't even opened them yet. These are a little brush tip. I thought I got the bullet tip ones, but these seem like a brush. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. I am anxious to try them out. I thought I saved the little cover of the markers around here somewhere on my desk. I was going to show you what the cover looked like. I got them. Dick Blick has them, and I think I got mine off of Amazon. They were cheap. But anyway, let's give them a try and see what they do. Nice opacity. That's pretty. Let's see if you can smear them a little bit. You can. You have some time. They stay wet. So that's an interesting thought. Let's see what they do if you put, I'm going to reach in for a paper towel here. Let's see what they do if you put a damp brush on them. They stay right where you put them. Check that out. Uh-oh, people. This might be a new thing that I need to get, because these are kind of cool. This was a set of, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Set of 12. Yeah. As always, I'm looking for things to use when I travel so that I don't have to take a bunch of paints. I like the smearing of this with my finger. Check that out. Responds very much like a paint. Let's see what happens if you put another color with it. I'm going to go with this darker, this turquoise thing here. Try to color in some parts. Now, what happens? Ooh, look at that. That's quite pretty. That blended out pretty much just like it was a paint. Well, I'll have to say, these are going in the suitcase for Switzerland, because I think this is rather nice to have something that blends out like a paint, but then also has this little tip that it's like a brush, but it's, I mean, you can smush it down, but you can still make dots, but you can still draw lines. You can draw a pretty fine line with that, which is kind of nice. I want to see what this blue looks on top of this blue, because I often like that, to do a layer on layer look. And yeah, see, that automatically builds some depth within your journal, and really you haven't done very much, right? So yeah, these are meeting the Mary Beth test for interesting, and I want to say they were less than 20 bucks for this set. I'm pretty sure it was less than 20 bucks. So yeah, for sure. So that's one thing I do. I test new products when I'm in this, oh my God, what am I going to do with myself state? I test new products and I just play. The other thing I do is I have this need to organize. Yeah, right. If you could see my desk now, you would laugh out loud at that statement, I'm telling you. So for me, organizing within my journal means probably using back to the grid because, you know, I do love a grid and yeah, I just do. So I'm going to go back to the grid right now and I'm going to tear. I'm not even on camera. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm going to tear some little squares, square size, somewhat square, rectangle, organizationally interesting pieces. So I have 2 architectural drawings. This is a map part that I tore earlier. And then this is a little Zentangle card that a girl in StencilClub, Carrie, sent me. Ugh, is that not so beautiful? And Carrie Jarman, I was thinking her last name was Jarman. It is Jarman. And, you know, I would love to memorialize it in my journal just because it was so special that she sent it to me. So I have these 2 pages and these 2 pages. So let's hit this one with a little color, a little bit of our color backgrounds. And then we'll move to this one again and we'll go back and forth and we will finish these pages up. Lickety split. I'm going to give myself a little bit more camera room here. Because right now I have the camera set up so that I'm like leaning forward and working on it. Don't quite know why, but that's just what I'm doing today. You know, guys, I cannot overemphasize the merits of working in the journal, the wellness journal. Seriously, I have more than the average person on my plate right now. I know that. I recognize it. It's happened to me over and over in my life where I get in these situations where I just have crazy amount of stuff on my plate and I don't know, I just managed to work through it. I think part of it is I'm a wee bit type A. Yeah. But you know, you just do what you need to do. And I think that for me, journaling helps me recognize what I need in the moment. Like this idea of using the grids in my work. I mean, I just know that that would be a helpful thing for me right now. It just would be. So I am going to do that. I'm going to make sure this is right side up before, yeah. Okay, before I put this down. And this is just so beautiful. I really want to probably put this in such a place of honor that there's not a lot else going on the page with it, just because it's super, super pretty. This is some tissue that I've had for a very long time. And you know what? I think I'm going to use my matte medium with this tissue. And then that way, sometimes matte medium makes it so much easier to put the tissue straight down straight away. So I can't say enough about these Sharpie markers. Okay, so here's the thing. You don't have to shake them like you do other acrylics. You know, like the Poscas, which I love my Poscas. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to stop using my Poscas. They have an enormous color range, and I really like them a lot. But this is a really nice grab and go, inexpensive product with some beautiful colors. And you know, I'm all about the colors always, and I do love the ease of it. What will really test them is to see how they fly. I don't think, personally, I don't think the Poscas like to be in the, oops, well, there, we ripped some tissue, but look at how nice that looks down there, right? I don't think the Poscas like to be in the luggage compartment on a plane. They prefer to be in the passenger compartment. I think when the what is that called? You know, I'm intentionally doing it now. When the you know, when the air pressure changes in the plane. I don't think they like that. They would rather be with the people, the Poscas. I find the times I've checked them, they just got a little weird afterwards. They never worked quite the same way. So it'll be curious to see if these are okay in my checked baggage or if they have to ride along with me in the plane. And finding that out's always good. Now, you know how Poscas, you have to shake them? I'll grab one right now. You have to shake them to mix up the paint. You don't have to do that with this, which is pretty interesting too. It's like, I don't know, interesting. When I ordered them, I just mainly wasn't sure about whether they would be good for, you know, blending, and or whether they would be opaque, and whether they would be waterproof, because it didn't really say on the site. It said they were water soluble, which that's a helpful piece of information for me. Water soluble, meaning they're not oil based, but are they water soluble and permanent, or are they water soluble and not permanent? Well, they're apparently permanent, so woohoo, woohoo. Good, that was 2 thumbs up for the Poscas. Okay. All right, so I've got that tissue down on there. Let me put some other stuff here. I'm going to go back to my glue stick now that I'm got some of the page going. I don't need that big tissue. Okay. I do love these architectural drawings. They're not really blueprints because, of course, they're not blue. Ha! I'm a genius, aren't I? Anyway, I just thought, you know, I think I want to just play around with some different kinds of shapes and primarily squares on my journal. And it always, for me, it adds a sense of organization. Now look at this. Here's one of the things I never like to do is use exactly the same size piece. And look at how this tea bag is almost exactly the same size as that. Let's see if I can tear this down. Now it's really almost exactly the same size. Let's put it over here. I think it'll be okay. It's going to blend into the background pretty well, the tea bag, I think. All right, that's good. I have prepared these backgrounds with the Dina Wakley, the gloss sprays. And mine, they're just all screwed up as far as the spray component happens to be. So I just pour them out, and I still love them. Doesn't matter to me. She has these different, you can buy like replacement lids for them, or you can buy a different kind of lid too, which does not involve a spray. And I've bought all those extra lids and put them on some of my new ones. But this was one of my older, grodier ones, as you can see. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave it this way. So then I was using her blue paints too, or this the paints that match the sprays. So as I prepared these backgrounds, I used olive and marine, and then I used olive and marine in the paints. So I do love these. I like the small size of the paints too. And I'll have to say, they pack a punch. There's more paint in there than you would realize. I mean, seriously, she's got some great colors. Marine and olive are 2 of my favorites. Syrup is another fave of mine. If you're ever wondering what colors to get, those are mine. Plus cheddar. And then there's one that's like a deep purpley, it might be called eggplant. And those are my favorite. Dina colors, just giving Dina a shout out. Love what she's brought to our industry for sure. All right, I'm trying to figure out where to put this guy. I think I'm gonna maybe put this over here. I'm putting the glue on the back of this since I don't want to, I want to put it on in its whole piece because I like that, where it's in its the whole size thing. Oops, I've got it turned the wrong way because she's got her little signature on there, right? Okay. And, oh crud, I got some on the front. Now I'm going to have to act like I meant to do that and put it around the edge. Oh, God, Carrie, I'm so sorry. I'm the biggest pig. But I think it looks really nice. It's blending right in with my journal, too. And this will allow me to keep this in a place where I'll tend to see it again because, you know, once I put, when people send me lovely things like this, I always keep them, but then they end up landing deep within my collection of other lovely things, and then I don't get to look at them as much as I would like. So I'm really happy I can put this in my journal. Now what I'm going to do, as part of my organizational madness, and here's what I mean about organization. For me, when I'm in that place where I'm super befuddled, I have a lot on my mind, I don't know where I'm going, don't know which end is up, and I need this organizational thing back to the grid with my journals, etc., etc. It also includes this idea of adding structure to the page that I'm working on, right? So like this, like these are lines and there's structure here. So I'm going to continue the lines. For me, this is an idea that it just helps me. I don't know what it is. You will need to determine what your thing is. And this may not be it, but I suspect for a lot of us, this is it. This idea of organizing the page and adding structure in line work. Because I see many artists who are doing this exact sort of thing. And I've been doing it for years and years and never realized why until recently when it finally just struck me, this is what I need to do. So I'm going to write across here a phrase that's meaningful to me, and I'm writing, "See you later, alligator," which my dad said to me this week. And, you know, I had to just hang up the phone and start crying, seriously, because it was such a heartfelt little kind of back to father-child thing that it felt super meaningful in the moment. I haven't heard him say anything that whimsical, oh my God, in literally years. Literally years. See you later, alligator. And oh my God, it just touched me in a way I couldn't describe. So that's why I want to put that in there. All right, that page, done. Now we have these two, and I do want to add some more squares here. Although I have to say I'm a little bit infatuated with the paint on these two pages, so I don't actually want to add that much to this page. I just am so happy with how this particularly, and you know, you can ask me over and over how to create this. All I know is that it was with the Gloss Spray Marine. I smeared it on. I think what I did is I had another color with it, and I let them dry partially and then wiped away, because that's normally what happens when I get this little result where the edges are showing like this. That's almost always work where I've let it dry partially and then wiped it away. And oh my gosh, I just love how that looks. I just love it. And you know, as I keep looking at these, I am just not sure I want to add anything else to it because I just love this part so much. So let's put this pup together, and then I'll talk about what I've done and some different approaches I've used this month that you may want to use in your own journal. All right, so here's my cover. As always, I did this with the manila folder, the process that was taught to me by Andrea Chabelot. There was a link to how to do the pages, and I think it was maybe last month or the month before, but I continue to use the structure. So for the cover one, I started with this spread, and I used some component parts from a class that I had taken with Lori Doctor, who has been a very admired artist and kind of a quasi-mentor in my life. I started studying with her back in 2000 or 2001. I can't remember the year I took my first class at Ghost Ranch, and she's come in and out of my life a million times through the years, and she never fails to bring me to a special place with my own work. And so these were some parts I had done when working with her. I decided to just utilize them in my journal, and I'm really happy I did. They kind of helped create the whole color scheme for this month, which is blue and green. All right, so that was that. These two, you just saw the two that that are suddenly so precious I can't paint over them. Oh, and then this is the internal 4-page spread I did after John and I went back to his hometown for just one day. We took a one-day trip over. It's a couple hours drive, and we went to the cemetery, and I saw this angel there who I really adored. She just spoke to me. And so I took a picture of her with my little sprocket camera and then printed it out and put it in the journal. This is a picture of the house John grew up in that is still there. It's got a little glare on it. There it is. But that was cool. And then a hummingbird, which was the symbol we used for his mother. And I had never met John's dad, but I knew his mother very well and adored her. And so I wanted a hummingbird in there. But there's a lot of symbolism in the parts that I've chosen to collage in here. And that's always the way I do it, especially in my wellness journal. It might not be meaningful to other people, but it sure is to me. And when I go back and look at it, every single bit means something. So John's hometown, lifetime memories. So that is the cover spread. I will have to say that I fold these. I mess up the fold on these every single time. I know Andrea taught me the right way, but yeah, okay. That's how I am. All right, this is a little piece of solidified paint. You know, when you open the top of a paint container and it has those little things in it. For some dumb reason, I started saving them, and I have a few of them here that I've saved. I did not use a glue stick for this one. I used something, a heavier glue to glue that down. I did work on these 2 pages together when a friend of mine was over here, and we were journaling together. And this is a very happy spread for me about springtime and the buds and the birds and the insects and all the things happening at this time of the year. I moved to this next page, and I used some napkins over here, which you'll see this napkin again later in the next spread. But a lot of things going on here, including another angel. It's a scenic writing. No, that is not a scenic writing. That is real writing, because that says clouds right there. This is a scenic writing over here. But I love to have my mark making, as you know. Very important for me to have in my journal. There was an eclipse in April. I'm sure you all knew it because it was all over the news. Well, here in St. Louis, we lived pretty close to the center line. And we saw, I don't know, maybe 95%. But anyway, it was super cool. So since I found out eclipse glasses expire and you can't reuse them, I thought I'd just glue them in here to remember that. And over here, this is not my garden, but I have a little statue in my garden that I was looking at during the eclipse. And so I wanted to kind of memorialize this page with that. And then this is the page that you just saw. I'm going to say, as from an artistic standpoint, this maybe wasn't my best effort this month, but I've had so much on my mind with my dad's continuing decline regarding his dementia, and the journal has comforted me in ways that are hard to put into words. I would urge you, if you haven't done this, make one of the journals. It does a lot for me, and I hope it does the same for you. I'll see you next month. Take care, everybody.